Hello everyone, so in this video we are going to talk about some simple tips when we copy information from Excel to Microsoft Word. So let's look at one of the sample file here. So suppose that we want to copy a table from Excel that we have the calculation on and things like that. So you may notice that the tables are sometimes having quite many columns, and when you copy paste to Microsoft Word, in the formatting are actually off and distorted. So let's try this one. So we can actually copy this one here, right, and then back to the Microsoft Word, and then we can paste the information here. So you can see that the table are basically too long, right, and it goes over the right hand side. So one of the way, of course, you may want to adjust the column width. So when you want to adjust the column width, you can move your cursor to the ruler here. So in order to expand the ruler, of course, we can also somehow adjust this cursor from here, right? So we can actually magnify and zoom in a bit, right? So you can see that if we move our cursor to this part in the column border, right, so we can actually arrange it over here. Okay, so we can actually click and like adjust the column width. Okay, so you can adjust it from here, or of course we can go to the ruler here. So you can go to the view tab, and then you can enable the ruler. So you can see there's a gray color bar shown here. Now you can actually adjust the column width. So let's zoom out a little bit, and you can see that when you move the cursor to the gray color area, you can actually adjust the click and drag. You can adjust the column width. Okay, so that is one of the way you can adjust the column width. And then of course these are alignment, right? So the indentation. Okay, so you can adjust each of the column, and then you can also observe from here that we have this part here where if you actually print it out, so these are the margin, right? So it actually exceeded the files. Okay, so if you move it in, then you will see that the numbers are distorted and it goes to two lines, and where you don't want this thing to happen. Okay, so usually, especially in terms of numbers, you don't want things to happen like this. Okay, so otherwise it will become very weird. Okay, the numbers will be very hard to read. Of course, you can readjust them a little bit and make it fit into one page. Okay, so this is one way you adjust a little bit here and there. Okay, so you can also observe one thing here is that the border is actually included. So let's go back to the Excel file, and you can see that the one that we copy here. So of course I did not show the grid line. So of course if let's say we remove all the border and then we show the grid line, so by default Excel looks like this. Okay, right, so if we copy from here now, you may realize that, okay, so let's let me minimize this one. Let's go back to the Word file here, and then we can paste here. So you will realize that formatting will follow, right? So the font color, the background color, and so on, but border is not there. Okay, so you may want to insert border in this case. Okay, so in this case usually I would recommend you to do the border in Excel file, which will be easier when you copy paste. Okay, so for example let me just untick the grid line, right? So now we want to add a border here in Excel. So of course easiest way is let me start up this screen key. Okay, so that you can see the key that I'm pressing here. Okay, so this is down, up, and then right, left. Okay, so I'm using Control Shift, and then you can Control Shift right, and then you see I will select 3 columns because there's a blank here, right? So for more of Excel shortcut, you can view or watch other video. Okay, so Control Shift right, and then I will select the whole thing. Control down and select everything. Right, so in order to add the border, for example, I would just want to add until here. So alternate BT, right? So it will basically is alternate HBT, home, border, tick. Okay, so of course you can also add something like alternate HBA. So you add borders to everything here. So you can copy and then paste to Excel file. Sorry, Microsoft Word now. So you realize that the border will follow, right? So Now of course we don't want this thing to happen, so alternate HB N, none, N for none, right? So select everything, alternate HB T. Then once you have added the border, you can see that you can actually repeat the last formatting using F4. Okay, so you can select here. So to repeat last formatting basically is the second subtopic that we are going through today, but now since we are in Excel, so we will just focus on this thing. Okay, right, so now you want to repeat the last formatting for all this, right? So something like this, of course I accidentally press F3, right? So you can do something like this, or you can select everything and then auto HBT, and then you do the necessary formatting here, so which would be actually easier. Okay, so as you can see from here, then we will basically continue to do the formatting. Of course if you are using mouse, then you can just do the same thing, right? So now once formatting is done, okay, right, so we just copy the whole thing and then paste it to Microsoft Word. So copy Microsoft Word, right? So again, so we paste here, you can see that everything is nice, but it exceeded the limits here. Okay, so like what we mentioned just now, we can actually adjust the column width, so you can adjust like over here one by one. Okay, so this is one way. Another way is that you can actually paste this thing in like let me start with a new page, right? So instead of paste everything, then you just copy like 5 columns and then maybe the other 3 columns here. Okay, so of course over here we are talking about a very simple way of doing the formatting. So you can see that there is no border here, because just now when we do the border in Excel, we are working on the borders here, not here. Okay, so you just need to add one more time the border here. Then I can copy this whole thing and then say for example a new page again. So I will paste here, so I get the 5 columns, right? So in order to get a 6, 7, 8, so you can actually hide here and then copy and sort of like paste here, so you get column 1, 6, 8 again. So of course over here is again affected by the borders. So if you recall back or you play back the earlier part, you can see that we did our borders in this column, not this column. So now I do the tick border on the side again. Okay, so then we can hide the whole thing and then just select the whole table and then paste here. So you can see you can actually split it into 2 columns. So this is of course one of the common way. The next thing that we are going through is that the repeat last formatting, you can actually perform it in the same way, the same shortcut key in Microsoft Word as well. So for example, if you highlight this word and then you change the color, for example to red, right? So you want to change this number to red again, so you press F4 again, so you can see that the last formatting will repeat. Okay, so it is actually quite convenient for repeating last formatting. So now for example, if we have selected here, and then of course we can do a border in this part, right? So table design and then the border here, and then let me do outside border, right? So if I want to repeat this thing again, I can just press F4, as you can see from here. Okay, so we select everything and then press F4. So because I accidentally pressed Control Z just now, so you can see that the last thing that they repeat is actually the, what is that called? Control Z, which is the undo, right? So you can perform the same thing, and then the repeat last formatting. Keyboard shortcut is actually the same as Excel, right? So you can do the last formatting here and there. Okay, so that would be the repeat last formatting. Of course, over here you may say that, okay, now I have a few pages in portrait, right? So I want to change this page to, let's say these are portrait, right? So these are portrait. So we want to change next page to landscape. So how do we do that? right? So of course I use Control Enter to insert a break here so that I can go to the next page. And then you can see that under layout, if we change the orientation to landscape, right? So let me zoom out a bit. You can see that all the pages are being changed to landscape. So if you want to change only one page, okay, so let's zoom in again and then change it back to landscape, portrait. Okay, right, so now next page only. Okay, so you only want to change next page into landscape. So how do you do that? So one of the way is you insert a section break, right? So let me okay, so this is landscape. Okay, so just as an indicator. Okay, now we want to change this page to landscape. So how do we do that? We insert a section break basically. So go to the insert tab, and then you can see that sorry, not this one. Layout, sorry. So under layout, okay, under the layout tab, okay, and then you can see breaks here. So there are a few types of breaks, and then you can see this is like section breaks, right? So you want to insert a section breaks that move the page to the next page. Okay, so insert this one, and then let me zoom out. So okay, right, so now you can actually change the orientation. You can see that one of the page will be changed, the rest it won't be changed to landscape. Okay, so this is one of the way how you actually change it to landscape. And then of course then later on, this is the next page, right? So if I move this line to the next page, you will realize that it will be still landscape. So in order to change it back to portrait, you insert one more time of the section break. Okay, under section break, choose the next page, and then change the orientation back to portrait. So you can see that you only get this page to be landscape. Now with this change to landscape, okay, so you can actually copy the whole table now. Now of course we paste it here, and you can see that everything will be nicely placed. Okay, so this is like one of the way how we deal with this kind of long table. Okay, so usually we try not to make the table to look very terrible. So in the sense that we don't want the numbers to go to the next line. Okay, so of course this table is in this way is quite good. Okay, so at least easily readable. Okay, so this is one of the way how you want to change it to landscape and portrait. Okay, so you insert section break to change one of the page to the landscape, and then you insert section break again to change it back to portrait. So that is what you have here. Okay, so some of the table formatting we also talk about that here, right? So you can actually like under table design, so you can change like the colors and so on. Okay, so you can change the color if you think that okay this is not nice, and then you can change it to like for example this one. Okay, so when you copy from Excel, you realize that let's go to the Excel again. So you can see that the headers here, actually I'm using two rows, right? So like calendar years and calendar and year are actually in two cells. So when you copy paste to Microsoft Word, they are actually in two cells. So of course if you have the borders like this, then it looks okay, okay, but if you have you apply the default or the built-in formatting, so you will realize something like this. So if you don't want this thing to happen, you can actually merge this one. Okay, so you go to the merge cell here, and then you merge them. Okay, so you can see that I use F4 to repeat the merging, so that I don't have to click here and there. So easier, right hand for the mouse, left hand for the F4 is quite convenient. Okay, so you merge them into one cell, and then of course now if you change them, then it looks better. Okay, so these are some of the things that you can actually perform. And then of course like over here, so you can actually change the shading. Okay, so the background color, so of course we copy from Excel, so you can see that the numbers or the color is there. So if you don't need the color, or you just want to like, you can format the color again, right? So you can do a repeating F4 to repeat the formatting. Okay, so that will be this short video on copying table from Excel to Microsoft Word, and then how do we change from portrait to landscape. So we will end here for this video.